Hello everyone, this is Ganguly and this is my second video on the topic the story of India's freedom struggle. And my today's first topic is very interesting and it is about the proclamation of Partition of Bengal in 1905. On your screen you can see this is the map of Bengal before 1905. Since 1765, Bengal had been a single united province comprising West Bengal, East Bengal, which means recent-day Bangladesh, Bihar and Orissa. And most importantly, Bengal emerged as the hub of militant nationalism in the 19th century. Now, you can ask me, what is the meaning of militant nationalism? Remember students, in India's freedom struggle, Bengal made a remarkable contribution. Whenever we are talking about any promising leader who participated in the India's freedom struggle, he or she maybe came from Bengal. So it will be a very proud moment for us whenever we know this thing. And we can say that Bengal gave such a leaders who participated in the India's freedom struggle. And most importantly, during the 19th century, there are many secret societies are there in Bengal, such as Jugantor Dol, Onushilan Somitis, and many more. These organizations actively organized anti-British campaign from Bengal, and they puzzled the British government by their revolutionary agendas. And whenever we are talking about these militant nationalism, how can we forget about the contribution of Khudiram Bose, Binoy Badal Dinesh, Jyotindranath Sengupta, Bagha Jatin, Master Da Surya Singh and many more. In 1904, Lord Curzon became the Viceroy of India. He sensed the danger of such a united front to British interest. So, Lord Curzon applied the policy of divide and rule, and he decided to partition and separate the Muslim-dominated East Bengal from West Bengal. The official reason given for the partition was easier administration, and Bengal was partitioned on 16 October 1905. Remember student, this is very tricky and this is very interesting. Lord Curzon wanted to divide the Hindu-Muslim force of Bengal. That's why he partitioned Bengal. And in Eastern Bengal, basically there are Muslim dominated people, and Western Bengal there are most Hindu dominated peoples are there. So he partitioned Bengal and gave reason that it was only for the administrative beneficial. So the decision of partition was taken by the government on 16th October 1905. It is very important. This decision was strongly opposed by people from all sections of society. The partition of Bengal made the Indians very angry. They saw the act of partition as a challenge to Indian nationalism and started powerful anti-partition movement. Remember students, the anti-partition movement was also known as the Swadeshi movement. The Swadeshi movement had two ideologies. First one is boycott and second one is Swadeshi. On your screen you can see this is a poster on the issue of boycott, which means that the Indian national leaders, they appealed to Indian masses to boycott British products, basically British goods, and used large number of Indian products, basically Indian clothes. You can see there was another poster, there was another advertisement which appealed to the Indian masses to use and buy more and more Swadeshi products. As a result, Swadeshi dates mills, soap and match factories, bank and insurance companies came up everywhere. leading in turn to a revival of local industries. National schools and colleges were also founded in various parts of the country, many of which began imparting training in Swadeshi crafts. The British reacted to the movement by arresting and deporting thousands of Swadeshi workers, including students. Swadeshi and boycott movement proved that if the Indians united, they could launch powerful movement against the British rule. Finally, in 1911, the British government cancelled the partition of Bengal and decided to reunite Western and Eastern Bengal and create a new province comprising Bihar and Orissa. So this is the effect of Swadeshi movement in Bengal. Remember students, in the 20th century, in the beginning of the 20th century, Swadeshi movement of Bengal had a remarkable contribution in India's freedom struggle. In order to weaken the Indian national movement, the British had started playing the game of divide and rule to separate the Hindus and the Muslims. These led to the formation of All India Muslim League in the year 1906 in Dhaka. The league showed its separatist tendencies when it supported the partition of Bengal and also started requesting the British to give Muslims as a separate electorate. The partition of Bengal made the British government extremely unpopular in India. When Lord Minto succeeded Karjan as the Viceroy of India, he introduced certain reforms to placate the Indians. Along with John Morley, the Secretary of State in England, Lord Minto passed the India Council Act of 1909, popularly known as Morley-Minto reforms. The act increased the number of elected members of the central and legislative councils. At the same time, however, the act introduced separate electorates for the Muslims. So obviously now the British government were only thinking about the divide and rule policy. They wanted to separate Hindu and Muslims. They know that if Hindu Muslims were united, it will not be possible for them to rule India, and their separatist policy gradually led to the separation of India in the year 1947. When the First World War broke out in 1914, Indian nationalist leaders decided to support the British government in the hope that after the war, the British will bring about major political reforms in India. But remember students, the British government never think about the benefit of India. Basically, India was a colony and the British government only think about the benefit of Great Britain. The First World War led to shortage of goods and high rise in prices. Moreover, the British forcibly recruited soldiers for the war and pressurized the Indian villages to supply the soldiers for the war. Remember student, the First World War increased the defense expenditure of the British government, and you will be surprised to know that these defense expenditure will only be fulfilled as the British government increased the taxes on the common people of India. Meanwhile, a 45-year-old man who was a renowned barrister, who was a renowned advocate, he proved his caliber, he proved his ability in South Africa. And in the year 1915, he arrived in India from South Africa. We all know his name. He was Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. When Gandhi returned to India, Gandhiji needed a platform and Gandhiji decided to join the India's freedom struggle. Gandhiji's political mentor was Gopal Krishna Gokhale, and Gopal Krishna Gokhale appealed to Gandhiji to join the India's freedom struggle because Gokhale believed that Gandhiji had the ability to lead the India's freedom struggle. Soon after his arrival in India, Gandhiji took up the causes of peasants of Champaran in Bihar who were being forced by the European planters to cultivate indigo. He also took up the cause of mill workers of Ahmedabad who were given very low wages, and the peasants of Kheda district of Gujarat who were overburdened with the high land revenues. So, by these three important Satyagraha movement, Gandhi announced himself in the Indian politics. But remember students, all these movements are regional movement, basis of regional issues. Now, Gandhi needed a platform, a national platform to prove himself as the national leader. Now the question is, did Gandhi achieve these things, or how, and did Gandhi able to handle the national issues? These questions will be discussed in my next video. Thank you and have a nice day.